Alright guys, welcome back. Just going to sort the ram out today and the high steer. So I've got the box. Bit of weight in it. Bolts. More bolts, seam joints. The rod for the link. And the ram. So I just want to stick this on the front diff and work out where my high steer arms are going to sit in line with the ram. So that's what today is. Alright guys, so back with my high steer arms for the hydraulic steering. I've cut, so I don't know if I've done the right thing or not, but I've cut. So that was the arms that I got. That thing, which generally bolts to the top of your knuckle like that. And they're bent for left or right. And then, so for my steering height, so yesterday I went up and measured the height of the ram, and the home joint needs to go on top of this for it to be pretty similar to, like, for it to be level, like for the ram to be sitting straight. So I've gone and done that. So hopefully it'll work. So the idea is I've got a 50mm gap here. I've got just a spacer in there at the moment, so when I'm welding this it stays that gap, but 50mm gap, which will allow the misalignment, the two misalignment spacers and the home joint to sit out here, and that's the center that way. So yeah, hopefully that works. Alright guys, just a quick update. I haven't filmed the whole thing because it's just been a bit time consuming getting these gussets right, and the whole thing right actually. So I'll just give you a quick look at it. So that's pretty much how it's sitting. I've just made these gussets up here. So that one and that one. I'm pretty much ready to weld these onto this knuckle. So I'm going to go throw this knuckle in the barbecue and get it up to, it's probably like 200 degrees maybe. 250, see how we go. And then I'll weld that plate here to the top of the knuckle and then run a bead under it, and then I'll weld these gussets on, and then once that's done I'll just make up a little rectangle piece to go in the front there, and that should be it. And then I'll give the whole thing a sandblast and paint it, I reckon. So yeah, so I'll just throw this in the barbie and then I'll give you a look once it's all welded up. I won't be showing all that, it's just too time consuming. But anyway, I will talk to you soon. Alright, so she's in the barbie. Okay guys, back up at the shed with my knuckle. I've welded it together. I've just stuck it on here now just to get an idea of the height and if it's going to be right. So basically ram, and I've just put a center punch, like a big punch in here just to give me a straight edge, but there'll be the rod that came, like the link rod that came with the ram. It's like a full, I don't know, meter long. The idea is you cut that to length, so there'll be a clevis joint that bolts in here, and then whatever length I end up cutting this tube to, and then my home joint will be in the end of that. So the idea of that was, so I've got the knuckle, I've cut this plate that came as a complete one piece, I've cut that, lifted it up so it sits a bit higher, made a bracket at the back to weld in there. So that whole top piece is removable to get to your kingpin bearing, and then the bottom piece I've welded to the knuckle with some gussets just to give it a bit more support. So that was my 50mm spacer I made when I was welding, just to keep it spaced where I needed it, which is what me heme joint with the misalignment spaces is going to be a 50mm gap, so that'll fit in there. All the heam joint will be in there, and then that bolt will run through it. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's where I need it. The only thing I've got to move that gusset. I put that gusset on the wrong side, so it should be welded on the outside. Just me, fucking up. But anyway, so with the knuckle you saw, I measured it all up, bolted it all together, made sure all this was going to fit. Then I stuck the knuckle in that barbecue to get it up to temp. So first time doing this, wasn't 100% sure. People sometimes were saying just use like a little gas burner and just heat up the area, but then I'm reading other things saying you want the whole thing to get to the temp. And when you think about it, if you've got a hot spot here and this is cold, and when it starts cooling, this is going to cool different to here because it's already cold, and that's probably where you're going to get it cracking. So the idea was to heat the whole knuckle, weld me bits in, and then I stuck the whole thing back in the barbecue and just had like one burner on for half hour, 20 minutes, so it's still got heat in it. And then after like the 20 minutes I turned all that off and just let it sit there for another half hour or so until it was cool. And then I had a welding blanket, so I wrapped it up in the welding blanket and it stayed like that for like 12 hours. So the idea was to keep it, to get it up to temp evenly, do your welding, and then let it cool down gradually so you don't get any cracking. So hopefully I did that right. I guess when we go driving and we start steering, we'll find out if I did my weld properly or not. Then tomorrow's job, that'll probably be the rest of the day, do that. I want to pull the hub and everything off that and just get a proper measurement of the disc brake. Go buy some new disc brakes. I've got the whole seal kit, bearings, grease for the rebuild of these. So I can start doing that. So I'll finish sandblasting this today, give them a paint, get my brake measured, and then yeah, I'll be back tomorrow to hopefully start putting the center in this and the axles and rebuild this. But that'll be the next video. So yeah, at the moment I'm happy with the knuckles. They look better than what the other, just the plate was. I like the idea of having like a double shear here as opposed to just the plate and then the heam joint bolted to the top with no more support. So yeah, I've just got to bolt it all down, but yeah, that's later. Cool. I will talk to you later. Okay guys, welcome back to the shed. The swivel hubs are done. I've got to rebuild the kingpin bearings. I've got a whole new kit for the kingpin bearings, and the seals are in there. Axles, diff center. I've got the diff center over there. Yes, and I've already got like all the heam joints and that for this. I've just got some spaces on order, the misalignment spaces. That's about it. So next job, rebuild this diff, put all new seals in there, put the diff center in, axles, and then I can start on the brakes. So brakes, new rotors, new brake pads, and then run the lines up to the, I haven't got the master cylinder up there yet, but there's a brake booster and a cylinder up there that I've got to install. Yes, still plenty to do. So I will see you guys soon.